We are 1 week out from HYROX Las Vegas, major Elite 15, and I've never been this excited to run a race.
So this race in Las Vegas has world championship implications, and it's going to be my first opportunity to race for a world championship spot for 2025 in Chicago. So here's how the HYROX season works. So HYROX is going to take the average of your top 2 times over the past 365 days. And with that average time, they then send out invitations to the top 15 athletes in the world to run in these majors. And once you're in a major, you have to finish in the top 3 of the race besides people who've already qualified. So there's been 2 qualifiers already. And so there's already been 6 athletes who have qualified for Worlds. So in Las Vegas, they're looking for qualifier 7, 8, and 9. So if all the athletes who have showed up for the previous races, who've already qualified, show up for Vegas, you can actually finish as low as 9th and qualify through. I don't think that that's what's going to happen here. I don't know exactly who's coming, but I do know that not everyone's coming. So there is going to be a few athletes who do need to qualify for this race who are really, really good and who've placed really well at Worlds in the past and who are going to be very tough to beat. So I know I need to actually bring my absolute A game to this, and that is the plan anyway. So going into Vegas, I need to be sharp, but I can't be overcooked. And that's where the last week of training really comes in. It's kind of like this balancing act where you can't pull off the gas completely, but I do need to continue to stay sharp. So I'm going to take you through everything that I'm doing in this last week to give myself the best opportunity to be as prepared as possible to qualify for these World Championships.
Oh boy, this workout is gnarly. It is just go hard and just deal with how terrible it is for a very short amount of time. It's something I like. We don't get much in HYROX, but this thing is nasty. I do like this session. I like it a lot. Heavy intensity through the roof and a lot of rest. So you get to kind of really send it multiple times, just see how far you can go without needing to sustain. So this is something I'll work in last like 3 or 4 weeks of a block. So this is gonna be the last real high intensity strength session that I will have before Vegas.
So if I say so myself, this quality session was pretty awesome. And I've been taking a bit of a different approach in my quality sessions over the past 2 blocks of training. And actually did make a bit of a shift into these last 2 or 3 weeks when sharpening up for the race. There was a fundamental change in what I've done in the past. So let me explain. In the past, I would build out my training blocks in a fairly structured way. So I would have like a linear progression that would go for whatever, 4 to 8 weeks. And the workouts would kind of build on top of each other, but would be pretty similar. So I kind of threw that out this past block and just wanted to have a little bit more fun with it, a little bit more creativity, and not be so stuck within kind of like a box of what I thought I needed to do. And I also shifted the targets. So instead of just like hitting the workouts, I wanted to make sure I was creating the stimulus that was desired that I thought would translate to HYROX. So for example, it'd be like, I want to spend 20 minutes in zone 4. However I get to those 20 minutes is how I will accomplish this workout. So that was a big shift is where the targets were. So in these past 2 weeks where I made the shift from volume in one zone, I wanted to move into intensity a little bit more. So I was able to move into pace. And I don't typically recommend people use pace for HYROX, but because I had this big block of training to call on, I kind of knew what pace I could hit on all these different modalities and what would be challenging. And I wanted to take what I've done in the past and kind of up it a little bit just so I could move the intensity a little bit more. And I wasn't paying attention to like the heart rate as much as I would have in the past. And the targets became the goal. So as the intensity ramps up, the volume has to come down a little bit. You got to give and take here. So the volume in the quality session dropped about 20% without any real reason behind that, but just something that I thought would be where I wanted it to be and not like, okay, the rule of thumb is 20%, so I'm dropping that. It wasn't like that. It was just like, here's the work that I've done and here's the work that I'm going to do now. So here is the workout. So it was a 45-minute, every minute on the 9th minute. So it was broken out into 3-minute increments. The first 3 minutes, I had to complete an 800-meter run. The second 3 minutes, I had to complete 54 cals on the Echo bike. The third block of 3 minutes had to be 25 wall balls with a 25-pounder plus 15 burpee box jump overs. So the scoring didn't start until I got beyond the target. And for the run, every 10 meters I got past 800 counted as 1 point. Every calorie I got past 54 was 1 point. Every burpee box jump overs I got past the 15 was 1 point. And so I added up my score, and here's what it was. I would love to hear if you give this a shot. You can scale this appropriately, but make the target a bit scary. And that was what was really fun about this workout, is that it was scary. Every single rep was kind of hard, but I was able to do it. From the start to the finish, it got pretty gnarly by the end, but because my volume has been so high in this kind of like intense zone, I knew I could handle it, and I was like, okay, when I have 2 more left, I can keep going. So that is how I've kind of shifted for this Tuesday workout, and I really enjoyed it. I would love to hear how you guys go after this thing. All right, it's Wednesday. We are headed to the gym for some zone 2 action. It is cold and snowy. The cold's one thing, but the snow is just like too unpredictable in terms of what the footing is going to be like. I'm at the point now that I'm thinking about it in terms of risk reward. Is it going to make me much better to be outside versus not? And it will really reduce the amount of chances that I have to slip and fall. So I'm going to go to the gym. I'm just going to plug away on the treadmill and then do some zone 2 cardio on probably a spin bike or whatever they have there, some sort of cycling. Yesterday went really, really well, and so today I'm feeling predictably tired. My sleep has been fine. It was okay last night. Usually, sometimes after really hard efforts, I have a hard time sleeping just because I'm just like so drained, or I'm just like have a hard time to actually catch up on nutrition and hydration. And maybe it had a little bit to do with that last night, but yeah, I'm feeling pretty tired, which is expected. So this is going to be a welcomed, easy zone 2 kind of day. So yeah, the days are counting down, physically feeling ready to rock, and just chipping away.
All right, we're about 30 minutes in, feeling pretty depleted, pretty beat. Just expected. It's hard to get the calories in, you know. Got some G1M Sport from the feed. That was planning for post, but needed that right now. We're just cruising along. We are at 720s or so. Heart rate's pretty low, but yeah, it's just clicking away. I'm watching the Hong Kong major and watching the Amsterdam major. Finished Hong Kong. Now it's Amsterdam, scouting the comp. So got about an hour left of stuff, but yeah, this is just one of those get it done kind of days.
So generally, what I'd like to do is have the same kind of sequence throughout the week that I would have every other week before a race. But I also like to have my last quality session land about my last half quality session, we'll call it, land about a week out in front of the race. And I don't know if this is anything that really matters or if it's just like distance runner superstition stuff. But this week's a little different because the Elite 15 major moves up to Friday. We're on Friday night. The men are at 7:30, the women are at 6 p.m. So that moves up my quality session, which has typically been on Saturdays. So Fridays, I generally like to have off. I've been taking complete rest on Fridays, meaning just literally putting my feet up, walking the dog, and chilling. But I also want to swim twice this week, so that's what we're going to do today. We're just going to swim because today's Thursday, so I'm going to move my quality session up to Friday. Yeah, so we're just swimming today, man. Just one swim, and then nothing really else on the docket. Might go to the sauna to keep that rolling, but just a nice, fun swim today.
Sit right behind your
So I had some really cool stuff show up at the house today after my swim that I want to show you all. I have been in talks as the season, as the year kind of turns. There's some new opportunities to collaborate with some different companies. So I have recently accepted a partnership with The Feed. So they had just sent me all sorts of swag. And so you will be seeing this, a lot of this stuff on race day. So check me out in this feed, the headband. I got my, it's like a duffel, a lot of cool bottles. So we're gonna be all set out there. So if you don't know what the feed is, it's an online marketplace for sports nutrition. I really love this, and I've been using it before we actually even had to decided to collaborate. And they are, to me, I compare them to like REI, right? Whenever I go on REI, I know that the product is going to be awesome. I can pretty much trust anything that they have. That's kind of how the feed is, right? Everything that is on that site is top quality, and I know I don't have to do too much research beyond what the actual product is and what it's supposed to do, because the companies that are on there are going to be top notch. So I've been using a lot of different products from there, including BPN stuff and all my kind of sports nutrition for endurance. So I'm really excited for the feed to kind of kick this partnership off in Vegas. Catch me in this hat too. I might need to work on some of the shaping of this hat. I don't know how the hats work now. My hair is all low. So catch you in Vegas. All right, RMR HQ, we're about to throw down a podcast Q&A. I have Kent and Meg joining me today. Super excited. I got my microphone, got my Eagles hat because it's about to go down this weekend. I don't know if you're going to be watching it. You'll probably know what the outcome of this event is, but I don't know as of right now. So we got all of our lights set up. Lights, and then some more light. So we are getting ready to do this Q&A thing, and then hitting my last real big workout of the week, of the whole session. Kent's using the all vibes. All right, so this is it. This is like the last workout. This is something that I put into place pretty much the Saturday before every race that I have. I'm doing it on Friday because our race is on Friday, so I like to have it 1 week ahead of time. Doesn't matter, probably not, but it's more just superstition and just if it ain't broke kind of thing. So the workout is just a half HYROX. So I'm gonna do a 1,000-meter run, ski. I'm gonna do half HYROX all the way until burpee broad jumps, and I'm probably gonna finish with a 500-meter run after burpee broad jumps just to see how it feels. So I usually will do this version of a like final tune-up. I've gone back and forth. Ryan, Kent, and I, we did a something similar, but it was a little bit more volume in terms of the stations, and it was closer to a full sim with rest and a little bit less running. So I just want to focus on that first part. I've done a lot of work on the back half in terms of my conditioning. So I really like this in terms of just figuring out race strategy. Where there is like learning in this race and the strategy part of it, a lot of times I feel is in the first couple of stations. Is how you're going to approach that first run, how you're going to approach the sleds, the ski, how you want to pace things out, and that's going to have a lot to do with how you finish out the race, right? So the full sim to me, if like I don't need to feel it, if I feel like I need to feel like the race a week before the race, I'm probably in trouble. So I just know I'm prepared for all of it, so I don't want to be like, oh, I just need to know that I'm okay to feel it. I am going to be okay to feel it. I'm almost certain, and I mean, of course I could be wrong. I've been wrong before, but I feel really good and confident in my training. So we're just going to press it a little bit. So I do try to press the pace slightly on this, just so that I can have an idea of where that like upper limit in pacing would be. I'm going to particularly push that first run. just because that's kind of how these races are run now, is just like people get out really hard. And so it's not exactly how I like to race, but I just need to know what's the fastest I could run and still execute for the rest of the race on this first run. So that's going to be the main goal for today. I got a half a scoop of BPN Flight in here. This is their pre-workout. It has, I think a full scoop is like 300 milligrams of caffeine. It's a little bit much. I've had some coffee this morning, so half scoop does me right, but also has some beta alanine in there, which is great for the endurance side of things, and also just kind of gives me a really cool acute feeling. I do like that kind of like ramped up feeling that the beta alanine can deliver. So this does that for me. So I'm excited to get this thing ready to rock.
All right, that's a wrap. So it's just me in the sauna now, getting a little bit extra heat. Post-workout, the volume, it's not an incredible amount of volume there, but just wanted to see where I was at. So no footage, because it's just your boy out here. No team, just me, camera. And I want to be a little bit more locked in for that. But overall, it was really good. I came in saying I wasn't going to compare it to last time, but
All right, so I did end up looking at the previous time I did do this workout, and I just want to kind of go through it because I thought it was interesting. So here's what it looked like overall. So my run was actually a little bit faster, and I remember in the time before Chicago, I was really trying to run a little bit harder. So this run, I knew that like I was going to have to get out a little bit faster. I'm just going to have to run faster in that first run than I want to in Vegas, and that's just how it is. Ski settled in the exact same. The second run, I was actually slower, and I think I paid heavily for the second run later in this workout, and I had this idea of like, okay, I want to kind of press things, and doing so in the last workout in November, I then quickly adjusted. I was like, okay, this is not a sustainable way to do this, but I wanted to be aggressive in the first two runs and then just kind of settle back in. Well, really, I know I need to kind of hit that. I need to have some juice to hit the sleds harder, so pulling that run back a little bit. So that run was a little bit slower, so I got behind, and then the sled push was almost the same. This is a little bit like discouraging for me, where I actually made him a little bit lighter this time. So it was like one plate less, 145-pound plate less than I would typically use. I typically have 11 plates on it. I just use 10 because 11 feels generally just like heavy. So, you know, I didn't have that extra day rest. I hit the sleds really hard on Monday, and my workout on Tuesday was also like really, really challenging. So I still had probably some of that little like sitting in there. But you know, so I figured I should probably have been, 15, 20 seconds faster than last time, but it's no problem. And then the runs were about the same, but then the pull was way faster as well. So this was also a 145-pound plate less, where I usually do 9 plates. This was 8. And I mean, this felt great, right? And so you can see my pull was just so much faster than it was. And I made up like all the time and more, on that pull. So I think that you can kind of draw this line back to that second run, and be like, okay, like a lot of that was given, like a lot of that energy that I had for the pull was spent on that second run the last time through. Or you can see this next run was about 10 seconds slower. But if I look at the pull plus that run, I take that every day, right? Like if I can gain 35 seconds on the pull and give back 10 on the next run, I mean, that's 20 seconds difference. That's you take that, right? And then coming into burpee broad jumps was about the same, 3 seconds slower or whatever. The main thing here, in November, I did this and I was like going to try to run after the burpee broad jumps and just like couldn't. I was just like dead. So I was able to get back. I ran for another 500 meters after burpee broad jumps and felt like it was hard, but I was like able to do it, and the pace was actually a little bit faster than what it had been previously. So what this indicates to me is that I'm basically in like the exact same shape. There's not a huge movement in either direction, and I'm not gonna like really kind of project what this means. All right, Saturday, we are through the week. We have executed about as well as possible. I'm in the home gym today, so I just want to show you a little bit of what we're dealing with here in Colorado right now. We are, I had to shovel my way to get to the gym. So it's snowing, man. So that's like, it's not a big deal. It's whatever. So I'm actually going to do this run, 60 minutes on the Assault treadmill. It's not my favorite, especially for zone 2. It makes me feel like I'm working a little bit harder than I need to work to actually get the work done. But yeah, just 60 minutes. This is going to be the shortest long run, I should say, that I've had since the build-up really happened. Maybe I'll pop on the bike or maybe some machines after, but nothing crazy. I kind of topped out at 2 hours and 10 minutes for long aerobic work. So this is like my Sunday long run, even though it's on Saturday, just moving it up a little bit. Because that's the sequence that I've been doing. I would do quality on Saturday, long on Sunday, and then Sunday I'm actually gonna take off. So let's take a quick look at what we got out here today. So here's just the home gym. We're still working on this over here. It's a bit of a construction zone, but we will get there. And then here's what it looks like in here. Just got the bike, got all the aerobic machine, got the pull-up bar there in the back. And yeah, man, it's everything I need really. So I haven't had to spend much time in here lately. But yeah, I haven't run outside in a while. It's been snowing for the past week, but we persevere. You like my new hat? Plugging away. Catching up on Wadapalooza, the CrossFit competition down in Miami. First event was some running, some assault bike, and box step overs. If you've ever seen DecaFit, the dude, James Sprague, who wins the event, was doing DecaFit step overs, man. It looks silly, but they are effective in that standard. And there's been so much heat when we do Deca. CrossFitters be like, that's not a rep. Because they're just like, whatever CrossFit says is a rep, is a rep. And look, I love CrossFit. I watch all the stuff. What they're doing is very impressive. But the more and more I watch it, man, it's like, it's pretty goofy. There's no way around it. It's a pretty goofy sport. All right, so that wraps up my last week of training before the Las Vegas Major. Like I said, Sunday's gonna be rest, and yeah, successful week. The execution was there. Everything went well. I'm feeling healthy. I'm sleeping well. My stress is low. And really the main thing that I wanted to accomplish this week was to keep the trust in my training and in myself that I am able to perform the way that I want to perform. Going into this event, you know, there is some external pressure, mostly internal pressure really when it comes to these events. And the training is what alleviates that for me. And knowing that I've done everything that I possibly could to go in to the event as prepared as possible so that I trust myself. I trust myself to execute. I trust myself to perform. I know exactly what I need to do on the day. And that's what this last week really solidified for me. Knowing that I had a couple hard workouts that went about as well as I could possibly want them to go, execute on my recovery, execute on my nutrition, and that I was able to just keep the course, right? Like I have this goal in mind, and I've put everything that I've controlled everything that I could to the point without having to be all consuming. So that's the main takeaway for a week like this, is that it doesn't really matter what I've done. It's just a matter of like trusting what I've done and knowing that like going into this event, I am just like happy with where I am and physically and mentally. And I can say without a doubt that I am. And whatever happens in this race, it's just going to be a byproduct of the prep. And I feel as though I've done everything I could, you know, and there's been times in the past where I've like tried to convince myself that that was the case. And really my stress was too high, or my training load was too high, recovery was too low. But everything is just lining up to go well, right? So all I need to do is execute, and I've been here before. I know that I can do that. I don't know what time I'll run. I don't know what place I'll get, but I know I've done everything I possibly could, and that's the main thing here. And that's where the value is in this type of preparation is
having a goal of the preparation and really seeing it through, right? And that's where I see the value in all of these type of events is like, how can I grow? How can I learn about myself, about what we're doing? And so I feel like I've done a really good job of that. So I'm proud of myself for that. So now at the race day, whatever happens, happens. The final week, I'm going to take off Sunday. I'll do light quality Monday, Wednesday, light run and bike. Thursday, or Wednesday, I think I'm going to swim and do some sort of run. I'm not sure. Tuesday's a run and bike. Wednesday's swim, and some other aerobic stuff. Friday off. Travel day is Wednesday. So, no, Thursday off, Friday's the race. I'm getting all screwed up with like this not being on Saturday. So really nothing else really going on. I'm going to rest the day before, easy aerobic, quality on Monday. And, yeah, so thanks for checking out the prep. If you're in Vegas, say hello, and, let's keep this thing rolling.